This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill scrambling to repeal and replace Obamacare. But this morning we know the number of people that could lose their health insurance if the bill passes.
AISD calling for a $1 billion bond package to be placed up for a vote this morning. What this could mean for the district.
Good Tuesday morning, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Mays.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. Let's take a live look outside this morning. The rain sticking around, at least off and on today. If you're hoping to wash away some of the mold causing your allergies to act up, well, think again. Let's toss things over to Erica Lopez. Yesterday, your eye was itchy, right?
It was, and that wasn't because of the mold. It was actually grass. Grass was elevated and mold was elevated. We can expect mold to remain in the high category because the humidity is not going anywhere out there, and mold thrives in the humid conditions. As for this morning, patchy drizzle and fog because it's so sticky outside. Relative humidity percentages are pretty much at 100% across the viewing area. Temperature-wise, it's not too bad, but you are going to feel the humidity out there when the dew points are close to the temperatures in the lower 70s right now. And as far as our eastern counties, mid to lower 70s for you guys also. But what we are seeing is some light rain and patchy drizzle developing mainly our central and eastern counties. Pockets of moderate rain is possible. We haven't seen much of it in the last hour, but overnight we still had a decent rain chance out there. This afternoon, 40% chance of possible thunderstorms are in our forecast. So mostly cloudy days in store. Temperatures in the 90s, lower 90s, but the majority of us may not even make it to 90 degrees. We're expecting lots of upper 80s out there. Overnight tonight will eliminate rain chances, but the humidity is here to stay. Anavita has an update on the roads. Any accidents to talk about this morning?
Yes, quite a few, but let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is Mopac at 35th Street traveling towards 183. If you're traveling northbound and southbound towards the city, you can see that the roads are still a little slick from the overnight showers. So just so you know, the construction was at a halt because of those overnight showers, so you won't see that, but just be aware of the slick roads as you're traveling on these roads, as they can be quite dangerous. Let's go ahead and talk about this accident, which just cleared. My system just showed it clear. Thumbs up there. Hotel Drive, accident and Employee Drive, so no worries there. Let's go ahead and talk about this construction site, though. Just be aware this will take into effect until Friday. Crosswalk between South Lakeshore Boulevard and East Riverside Drive will be shut down, so go ahead and use the detour Tinnen Ford Road to get around this area, so just watch out for that through Friday. Guys, back to you.
Anavita, thanks. 6:02 now, and a warning from the White House overnight saying Syria may be planning another chemical weapons attack. This is in a statement. Officials said the U.S. had found potential evidence that the Syrian president is preparing to conduct an attack similar to the one carried out back in April that left dozens of civilians, including children, dead. The White House did not provide any specific evidence to support the claim. This is a developing story. So far, the Syrian government has not responded.
Today, there is growing opposition within the Republican Party over the Senate health care bill. Will GOP leaders have enough support to move ahead on the promise to repeal and replace Obamacare? As ABC's Emily Rao reports, there are new numbers estimating how many millions of Americans would lose coverage.
I will stop this bill!
As Democrats gathered with protesters.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this craven, evil bill, it's not about going together. It's about leaving people behind.
Republicans continued last-minute negotiations.
This is the art of the possible and the art of getting 50 votes.
The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office revealing the Senate health care bill would leave 22 million more Americans uninsured over the next decade, 15 million more next year alone.
Unfortunately, the forgotten men and women remain ignored in both the House and Senate bill, and that's where I'm trying to press.
Republican Senator Ron Johnson citing the working class Americans President Trump has also called forgotten.
Save Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security without cuts.
Candidate Trump pushing to save Medicaid, but the bill he now supports would slash Medicaid spending by $800 billion.
I'm also very concerned about the Medicaid cuts and what it means to our most vulnerable citizens.
Those concerns from Senator Susan Collins, now on the growing list of Republicans who say they'll vote no on this bill.
And that makes a total of 6 in the no column when this bill can only afford 2 no votes to pass. Emily Rao, ABC News, Washington.
The Supreme Court plans to hear the case for President Trump's travel ban on 6 Muslim-majority countries. That's set to happen in the fall this year. In the meantime, the Supreme Court is letting the administration enforce the ban for 90 days. This applies to citizens of Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. So what does this mean? Well, the justices provided several examples to explain who can still enter the country if the United States, if U.S. citizens claim close relatives from one of those targeted nations, they will be allowed to enter. If U.S. universities have accepted students from one of the targeted countries, the students will be able to enter the U.S. and begin their studies. And if a U.S. business has given a job to a worker from one of the targeted countries, the worker will be able to come do the job. The White House says this is a clear victory for our national security.
Well, after several months of work and weeks of debate, Austin Independent School District has voted to add a bond package to the November ballot. KVUE's Corey Coffin is live from AISD headquarters for a breakdown of what's included. Corey.
Well, there's quite a long list of projects included in this bond, and the district hopes this bond will carry those projects through the next 20 to 25 years. Included in last night's final vote to put it on the ballot are 16 new or modernized campuses, along with dozens of other smaller changes. The board also passed an amendment which prioritizes schools with overcrowding issues if there are any leftover funds. This vote came after hearing from dozens of parents and community members, all voicing their opinions on the various projects, like renovating the old Anderson High School campus, moving the Liberal Arts and Sciences Academy, known as LASA, and adding a medical school.
So in this approach, we actually then address many different needs by modernizing the original Anderson, relocating Eastside Memorial to that school. It's also going to be Early College High School, which is right down the street from Austin, from ACC Eastview campus, expanding LASA, and then bringing in a medical school to LBJ.
Now, with that current list, the cost of everything comes out to just over $1 billion. But AISD will get some financial help from a contingency fund and property sales. That'll bring the bond down to about $990 million. The board needed to keep the bond below the $1 billion mark. Otherwise, they would have had to raise taxes in the election in November, and that's something voters likely wouldn't have gone for. Another question came from parents last night about East Austin schools and low enrollment. Are they at risk of closing? Well, Dr. Cruz would only say that it's about, quote, modernizing sites. So their future remains to be seen. Voters will get a chance to vote on that bond come November. Live at AISD headquarters, I'm Corey Coffin for KVUE News.
2 of the 4 suspects accused of sexually assaulting, kidnapping, and robbing 4 women in Austin are expected in court this morning. 19-year-old Christopher Jaramillo and 23-year-old Dimitri Rogers are accused of aggravated robbery, aggravated sexual assault, and aggravated kidnapping. The young women say they were kidnapped and sexually assaulted when they went to an apartment to buy drugs on June 16th. One of them escaped and was able to call 911. The 3rd suspect, Emmanuel Greer, was taken into custody on Friday in Corpus Christi. There's still a 4th person on the run.
More than $2 million worth of cocaine is off the streets this morning. Back on Sunday, Border Patrol seized more than 65 pounds of cocaine with an estimated value of $2.1 million. More than 24 bundles were stashed inside of a pickup truck's quarter panels. Authorities arrested the driver of that truck.
Well, the government is letting more than 200 Texans living along the Mexican border know they want their land. And this comes as the Justice Department renews its effort to complete the border fence, which it started about a decade ago. Officials sent the landowners notices through the newspaper in Brownsville. Some say even though they don't agree with the fence, it doesn't make sense to fight it.
Economically, it makes sense, to go and take their offer because, I'm just a simple, humble guy, I'm not going to lawyer up, over something this small, but just the very concept of the very idea, I never agreed with it.
There is still about 50 miles of the border fence that isn't completed. The government says the landowners will be compensated.
Wildfires continue to spread throughout the Southwest. Firefighters around that region fighting 21 different fires burning across 7 states. These include the Bryan Head Fire in Utah, which has burned more than 46,000 acres and is only 9% contained. 1,500 people have been evacuated, more than a dozen homes destroyed. In Arizona, crews say fires have burned nearly 1,500 acres in the Prescott National Forest. Officials say these incidents are due to the extreme heat, dry terrain, and high winds. Meantime, here in Austin, we're dealing with a little bit more rain overnight. Erica Lopez joins us now with the Tuesday forecast. Hey, Erica.
Yeah, for sure. We've been able to report rainfall in Camp Mabry 3 days in a row, and the most impressive day was yesterday, where we picked up over an inch of rain. A very good rainfall total so far, and we have more in the forecast today. Live look outside. It's rather gloomy and rather sticky out there. Lots of low-level clouds, a mostly cloudy start to your day. Temperatures aren't too bad, but when the dew points are close to the temperatures, that means it's sticky out there. Relative humidity percentage at 100%. So keep in mind, patchy drizzle and fog is most likely for your morning commute. Here's what we're expecting hour by hour. Patchy drizzle, about a 30% chance this morning. We're going to increase rain shower chances to more afternoon thunderstorm chances, and one or two of those storms could be on the stronger side this evening. Highs expected to be near 90. Our forecasted high in Austin about 90 degrees. But again, a lot of us across the viewing area may not even make it to 90 degrees. So we'll keep a close eye on those temperatures today and also on those rainfall totals, because we really need it here in Central Texas, and we'll take all the rain that we can get. Guys, back to you.
Erica, thanks. Today, the health department is working with Walgreens stores to offer free HIV testing. You can get a free test at the Walgreens Healthcare Clinic on Airport Boulevard today and tomorrow. The event part of National HIV Testing Day, which began back in 1995. Still ahead, Ivanka Trump heading to court.
Why she's being sued and the reason a judge says she has to testify.
And a local father pushing for safety 5 months after the death of his son. What he says the city of Georgetown needs to do to protect cyclists.